Monday night in Atlanta left a mark. The Bills took their second straight loss, falling 24-14 to the Falcons, and this one hurt. Josh Allen and the offense battled hard, but when your defense can't get off the field, everything gets harder. Atlanta ran wild, putting up over 200 rushing yards and controlling the tempo all night long. That's not Buffalo football. Under Sean McDermott, we've come to expect physicality, discipline, and defensive dominance. But this time, the missed tackles piled up, the front line couldn't set the edge, and the injuries on defense were painfully obvious. With stars like Matt Milano sidelined and several key defensive tackles out, Buffalo had no choice but to dig deep, even calling up practice squad players to fill major gaps. It's been a test of depth, resilience, and patience. As the Bills hit their Week 7 bye, the front office isn't waiting around. Moves are being made, fast. On Tuesday, the team officially announced the release of linebacker Jimmy Carlo and cornerback Jalen Kimber from the practice squad. Carlo, a second-year player from Army, came in earlier this year after a short stint with the Jets. He appeared in just one regular season game, but many fans remember him for his leadership and toughness, the kind of player who gives everything he's got. His never-quit mentality made him a quiet favorite among the locker room and fans alike. For Buffalo, every decision right now carries weight. With defensive injuries stacking up and roster space at a premium, the team had to make some tough calls. Linebacker Jimmy Carlo is gone, and now cornerback Jalen Kimber joins him on the release list, part of a deeper reshuffling as the Bills prepare for the second half of the season. Kimber's story is one of persistence. After stops at Georgia, Florida, and Penn State, he brought energy and raw talent when Buffalo added him to the practice squad earlier this year. The front office saw potential, especially with a secondary that's been stretched thin. But with Damar Hamlin landing on injured reserve due to a pectoral injury, the depth chart shifted again, and opportunity gave way to necessity. The Bills needed room, and Tuesday's move made it clear, something bigger is coming. And that's where things finally turn around. Because Bills Mafia, there's good news on the horizon. Reinforcements are coming. Defensive linemen Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hocht are officially eligible to return in Week 8 after serving 6-game suspensions for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. Both were brought in during the off-season to toughen up Buffalo's front, and now, just when the defense needs help the most, they're ready to go. The timing couldn't be better. Through 6 weeks, Buffalo's run defense has been a major concern, ranking near the bottom of the league by allowing over 150 rushing yards per game. The numbers don't lie, while the Bills sit top 10 in total sacks with 15, the consistency simply hasn't been there. Too many missed tackles, too many second chances, and not enough disruption up front. That's exactly why Ogunjobi and Hocht matter. Ogunjobi, who spent last season in Pittsburgh, brings a strong interior presence, a space eater who commands double teams and lets the linebackers flow free. He's physical, smart, and knows how to collapse a pocket from the inside. Hocht, on the other hand, is pure energy. Coming off a strong year with the Rams, 56 tackles and 3 sacks, he's the kind of high-motor pass rusher who brings chaos off the edge. His speed, length, and aggression could be exactly what Buffalo's defense has been missing. These two were signed to transform the Bills' front line. Suspensions delayed that plan, but now, their return could change everything. With Week 8 on the horizon, the defense finally gets a chance to show what this new-look unit can do, and just maybe, this is the moment the Bills start turning their season around. Make no mistake, these returns couldn't be more important. The Bills have been fighting through one of the toughest injury stretches in recent memory, especially on defense. Rookie defensive tackle T.J. Sanders landed on injured reserve with a knee issue. Veteran Daquan Jones has been dealing with a calf injury. And promising third-round pick Dwayne Carter tore his Achilles, ending his season before it even truly began. That's 3 major pieces gone from the defensive trenches, the very heart of Buffalo's identity. Add in the hits at linebacker and safety, and it's been an uphill battle every single week for Sean McDermott's staff. The bye week couldn't have come at a better time. This is Buffalo's chance to breathe, reset, and recover, both physically and mentally. And now, with Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hocht returning to the rotation in Week 8, there's real hope that the defense can finally find its rhythm again. Both players won't count toward the active 53-man roster until October 20th, which gives the Bills front office valuable flexibility to make a few more moves before locking in the lineup. That flexibility could be key, because this isn't just about filling spots, it's about finding solutions. And that's exactly what General Manager Brandon Beane is doing. He's not waiting for the season to spiral. He's reshuffling, adjusting, and making proactive calls to keep the Bills stable and competitive. That's the kind of leadership you want to see after 2 straight losses: fast, firm, and focused. The message is clear: Buffalo knows what wins football games. Defense. Physicality. Controlling the trenches. Josh Allen and the offense will always grab the headlines, but this team's true identity has always been its ability to dominate on the other side of the ball, to stop the run, set the tone, and create turnovers. If the returning veterans can anchor the front line, the ripple effect could lift the entire defense. The Bills still sit at 4-2, very much in the fight for the AFC. But everyone in Buffalo knows the truth: the next few weeks will define everything. And while the focus has been on the front 7, the secondary remains a concern. Once considered the backbone of this defense, it's now a unit filled with question marks. Christian Benford, fresh off his off-season extension, hasn't yet delivered the consistency fans expected. Meanwhile, Tre'Davious White, one of the emotional leaders of this team, is still trying to regain his full form after returning to Buffalo. Because of that, the coverage has been shaky, the communication hasn't been crisp, and the confidence, once this defense's greatest weapon, has been tested. But make no mistake, this is still the Buffalo Bills. A team built on grit, loyalty, and that relentless drive to rise again. With reinforcements on the way, a bye week to regroup, and a fan base that never quits, this story is far from over. Buffalo's next chapter starts in Week 8, and it might just be the turning point this team's been waiting for. There's one name that's been echoing through every conversation in Buffalo: Maxwell Harsin. The rookie first-round pick who turned heads all summer long. The kid who brought swagger, confidence, and that fearless, physical play style that made Bills fans believe the secondary had finally found its next star. But that excitement has turned into patience, and maybe even a little frustration. Harsin's been sidelined since July, still recovering from his LCL injury. He was eligible to return after Week 4, yet here we are, heading into the Week 7 bye, and he's still on injured reserve. Naturally, Bills Mafia wants answers. When will he be back? And more importantly, can he really be the spark that saves this secondary? On Tuesday, Sean McDermott finally gave some clarity. The head coach revealed that Harsin's 21-day practice window could open right after the bye week, a sign that the rookie is progressing and inching closer to getting back on the field. That's the good news. But then came the part that hit fans with a dose of reality. McDermott made it clear that everyone, fans, media, even players, needs to manage expectations. He reminded everyone that Harsin hasn't played a single snap since training camp, and returning mid-season after months off is no simple task. Especially for a rookie cornerback facing NFL-caliber receivers every week. And you know what? McDermott's right. This isn't Madden. It's not plug-and-play football. Timing, confidence, and chemistry take time to rebuild, and the rookies missed all of that. The rhythm, the reps, the live action, those are the things that shape a young defensive back. So when McDermott says to be realistic, he's not being harsh, he's being honest. Harsin may not step in as an immediate starter. He might not even play meaningful snaps early on. And that's okay. Because Buffalo can't pin their hopes on a player who's still finding his footing after a serious knee injury. The truth is, Harsin has everything you want in a long-term cornerstone: size, instincts, and toughness. But expecting him to walk in and single-handedly fix a secondary that's been shredded by injuries and inconsistency? That's not fair to him, and it's not realistic for the team. The Bills have to be smarter than that. They can't rush a young player just because the defense is hurting. They need to build him up the right way, step by step, so when he does return, he's ready to stay on the field. Because make no mistake, Harsin's future in Buffalo looks bright. But right now, the Bills need stability more than a savior. Now, all eyes turn to one man, General Manager Brandon Beane. If there's one message that came through loud and clear from Sean McDermott's recent comments, it's this: Buffalo needs help, and it needs it now. The Bills have just 2 games left before the November 4th trade deadline, and the clock is ticking. Beane's reputation for mid-season magic is well earned. He's pulled off clutch trades before to solidify the roster when it mattered most. Whether it was reinforcing the pass rush or adding veteran depth in the secondary, he's never been afraid to make bold moves when the team's window is wide open. And that window is open right now. Buffalo sits at 4-2, but the defense has allowed too many big plays, and opposing quarterbacks have looked far too comfortable. Without stability in the secondary, even Josh Allen's brilliance can only carry this team so far. That's why there's growing buzz around a potential move, maybe a trade for a seasoned cornerback, someone with experience and leadership who can bring order to the chaos on the back end. Because if the Bills can add one reliable piece, it could shift the entire outlook of this defense heading into the second half of the season.